There's a soul. There's a saying that everything is bigger in Texas. It most certainly applies to both the home of the Cowboys and the 7th installment of the International Bowl.
Last high school game of your career before you sign that on the dotted line. Just knowing that I'm going to Dallas Stadium and I'm representing my whole country is just a big honor and blessing.
The 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football comes down to this. This is the 6th game this week between teams from the U.S. against Canada. And with a 3-2 lead, the United States looks to take the International Bowl home. Their under-17 national team against the under-17 squad from Ontario from AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. David Salzman alongside Greg Tipper. Greg, it was a 2-1 Canada lead entering today. The Canada under-18 national team dominant in their 2 victories. Provincial squads from Canada taking part today. It's been trouble so far from the Alberta under-16 squad and the Ontario under-18 team. It's up to Ontario under-17 to try to even it at 3.
But if there's any sign of a trend here in these games today, it has been a dominant United States defense. They have yet to give up, the United States defenses have yet to give up an offensive touchdown to these Canadians. And I imagine that the US U-17 defense has eyes on keeping that streak going.
Coin toss in the middle of the field as we look at the captains for the U.S. team, and these are presented by Sports Authority. The starting quarterback, Byron Leckington. Starting safety, Isaiah Humphreys. Starting left tackle, Ruben Estrada. And the starting defensive end, Josh Mays. Jackson Yost is the flag bearer.
USA has deferred to the second half.
USA will defer the option to the second half. All 3 USA teams have done that
Ontario
today.
will receive.
Ontario's captains, Jacob Savani, Justin Jelasic, Jack Hinsberger, Khalil Wilson, and Miles Manilow. Malik Stryker, the flag bearer for the team from Ontario. Our first game saw the U.S. under-16 national squad dominate Alberta's under-16 team 43-6. And then a second game which was closer than the score would indicate, but the U.S. under-18 select team pulled away to defeat the Ontario under-18 squad by a score of 34-3. That was a 14-3 game at the half.
Really, these United States wins that we've seen this week have all come down to the same thing, that Canada's defense has been up to the task for the most part of slowing them down early and keeping them in the game, but they just tend to wear down, and the United States finally starts getting people out in space and dominating once they get their athletes out in space. That's another key for this United States team, the U.S. under-17 national team. And make no mistake, they know what's on the line here. They know that this is the United States against Canada, and really the International Bowl title, if you will, on the line.
Hunter Reed has the ball teed up at the 40-yard line. Reed from Dunlap High School in Peoria, Illinois. And we're underway, the finale of a great week of action here at AT&T Stadium. The running grab by Keon Edwards from Toronto, and he takes it out of bounds around the 30. And so what does the Ontario under-17 squad have in store? Their starting quarterback is Jonas Hatcher. Stands at 6'1", 180 from Toronto. We've seen in the first 2 games good running ability by these Canadian teams. A little more trouble getting the passing game going. Obviously the passing game behind in the country of Canada than what it is on the high school level here in the United States.
But another big offensive line for this Canadian squad.
In the pistol. First offensive play for Ontario from their own 31. Look at the bouncing around by the defensive line of the United States. They'll hand it off. Jacob Savani. A first down run past the 40 all the way to the 44.
The Ontario offensive line says, oh, okay, you guys want to bounce around. You want to not get set. You don't want us to know where we're going to block. Well, that's fine. We're just going to go pop you in the mouth and break off Jacob Savani for a game-opening 13-yard run. And all of a sudden, Ontario looking already better than their previous teams.
Our starting lineup is presented by Shock Doctor. There's Hatcher and Savani. Tatsu, Johnson, Wilson at wideouts. Wells, Carabin, the tight end. Blair, Ferreira, Sign, Quartz, and Pagoso, the offensive line. And another carry, trying to squeeze through. Savani, nowhere to go. This may be a loss of close to a yard.
What you're going to see from this defense as you look at the starting lineup presented by Shock Doctor, especially up front, you look at Mays, you're looking at big beef in the middle in Ian Roberts and Jackson Yost, and then speed on the outside in Mays and Sims. The linebackers, McDonald's, Goulat, and pitcher, the corners, Hearn and Bug, and the safeties, Humphrey and Gurley.
Humphreys and Mays, two of these many players with bright futures. Mays, class of 2017, has already taken an unofficial visit to Notre Dame, and Isaiah Humphreys, class of 2018, already with offers from SMU and Oklahoma. High snap, Hatcher controls, but the high snap hurts Ontario. Nowhere to go on the carry, back to the 40, setting up 3rd and 13.
And it seems like a little thing, that snap going a little bit high, but that just throws off the timing of the play. It throws off the blocking. Everyone's moving in concert, but when you throw it off by just a half second, especially the way that Canada likes to run the ball, then you kind of, you get a little bit off kilter, and all of a sudden, this is where the United States wants to have them. 3rd and long. These Ontario teams have not shown a proficiency for picking these types of plays up.
The old conventional set, just 2 wides. Man in motion at the top of your screen is Brandon Tatsu. Khalil Wilson at the bottom. Off the play action, pocket collapses, nowhere to go as Hatcher goes down. Jackson Yost from Everett, Washington. Number 84 with the sack.
And it's just the speed off the edge of Jackson Yost as he gets to the quarterback and brings him down for a sack. And already the defensive front for the United States causing fits for this offensive line.
So an early punt for this Ontario under-17 squad, which fell to the U.S. under-17 team last year here at AT&T Stadium just by a 24-10 score. Anthony Gurley down the sideline. And the U.S. will set up shop well on their first drive of the night.
The U.S. does not lack for playmakers, and Anthony Gurley is one of them. Out of Marysville, Washington, he will get the edge, and then you see that burst. You see that ability to get down the sideline in quite a hurry. Canada lucky to keep him out of the end zone. 1 or 2 missed tackles, and that would have been pay dirt.
Gurley, Everett Washington Herald's 2015 Football Athlete of the Year. 28 touchdowns in 29 varsity games over his high school career. Sweeping to the far side, breaking free. Daniel Torres, the U.S. on the scoreboard right away.
Hello, welcome to the International Bowl, and welcome to the Daniel Torres Show. It's just a stretch play here to the outside. Great seal block by the tight end. Good blocking on the outside, and from there, Torres signs that one. See you in the car. Best wishes, Millhouse.
And just like that, a 6-0 lead for the U.S. under-17 squad. And the extra point by Hunter Reed. Taken away, and this could be returned for 2. Reed Wiley off the block. Reed is trying to chase him down, and Reed hanging on for dear life. Wiley gets away, but in the end, it is Dylan Spalding able to finish him off, 4 yards shy of the end zone. And so Ontario unable to return the missed PAT for 2.
Tell me kickers aren't athletes. Are you kidding me? Hunter Reed is going to chase this man down all the way down the sideline. He is mere inches away, Dylan Fernandez. And meanwhile, Hunter Reed, the kicker, chases him down, slows him down just enough to ensure that he will not score. Wow, what a play.
Exciting start, 6-0, the lead for the U.S. Under-17 squad.
NFL 16. Game not yet rated.
When you get away from smartphones and video games and tablets, it's amazing what you can really plug into. This season, shop the brands you love, plus thousands of items on sale now. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
I got plans.
I'm going places.
Here I come.
I got plans to pick myself up.
I will gain trust. I'm gonna earn everything I get. I got plans to command your respect. I've got plans to push my limits. Hey!
I got plans to be great.
Let's go, get in.
The icon of the game. The icon of competition. The icon of athleticism. The icon of fandom. The icon of the future. The future of football is now.
This is where our children take the field. Where communities pull together and neighbors become family. Where players learn something new every day. This is where our teachers carry a whistle. And winning is not the most important lesson learned. This is where we watch our kids for hours. And occasionally get a lump in our throat. This is where our kids can still be kids. Where we get to watch them grow up. This is USA football.
6-0 the lead for the United States Under-19 national team, and we were told during the break there was a late number change for the United States. We weren't informed of that until a moment ago. Christian Setter actually with the touchdown run. Speedy 5'10" tailback from Dewey, Arizona. He was the runner to put the USA up 6-0.
Yeah, to Prescott High School in Dewey, Arizona, and he's been doing a lot of that. Scoring, he tied the single-season scoring record for Prescott High School with 22 total last year. He's used to making residents in the end zone, and you saw why. That's some burst from that young man.
And the United States wants its players to keep their favorite numbers. There are actually two number 18s in Christian Setter and Daniel Torres, who we'll see at defensive back for the United States. Second return early today for Keon Edwards. Able to get it close to the 30.
And this has kind of started like the first couple of games we've seen here, where the United States says, hey, you can have the ball first, get a big stop, and then march right down and score. Ontario has got to find a response, because right now recent history has shown that offensively the response has been slow, if at all, to come.
No offensive touchdowns for the provincial teams today. Alberta's under-16 squad and Ontario's under-18 team. Dave Johnson, the man in motion. And Savani able to get close to 5.
loses his helmet there, so he'll need to come off for a play. Or rather, that's number 70, the big offensive lineman, who's going to need to come off for a play, Isaiah Adams out of Ajax. But, this is what we've seen from these provincial teams. We've seen a grinding running game that at times can be really good and really explosive. But at other times, when they get behind the chains, which tends to happen when you have a very good defensive front like the United States has had, then you get in trouble and you get into passing downs, and that's where they've really fallen apart.
Wrapped up right away, Savani. This time, Aioli Laga was on him from Hawaii.
Maybe the first Hawaiian we've seen this weekend, this week. It's really an impressive shooting the gap right there, making sure that the running back is not going anywhere, and Laga gets in there and makes sure he wraps him up.
So we'll set up 3rd down and 6. This Ontario under-17 team played 2 games back in 2014 at the International Bowl, split them as the U.S. under-17 squads were split into one called red and one called blue. As mentioned, this under-17 national team for the U.S. defeated the Ontario under-17 team last year 24-10. Hit as he throws and trying to spin away Khalil Wilson. That pass incomplete.
Boy, I think the United States got away with one here. I think Zarin Gines, the linebacker out of Los Angeles, was grabbing a little bit on his man, but they don't call it. They keep the flag in their pocket, and they will be forced to punt. Interesting thing there, they did not have any safeties on the field. That was a cover 0 right there, and basically the United States is daring Ontario to beat them deep.
Second punt early, high snap. Michael Boback. And the punt off the ankle of Gurley, but now controls, looking for a second big return. Too much speed. Anthony Gurley, and Boback has to bring him down.
Boy, Anthony Gurley's fun when he gets out in space, right? You're going to see him actually bobble this. Going to hit off his foot, and you're thinking, oh, well, he's not going anywhere. But he says, never you mind. Gets a couple of blocks, but this is just all speed. There's going to be a flag down here. We're going to check that after the play. But ultimately, that's too much speed, too much athleticism from Anthony Gurley.
Personal foul, offense, number 70. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Seth Lambert from Lake Jackson, Texas, in the Houston area, called for the personal foul. And from the spot of the foul, the ball will be moved all the way back into U.S. territory from their own 45. When we return, they'll look to extend a 6-0 lead.
You can be the best in your house.
And then your state.
Then get all the love.
You can be the best in this house.
Be faster than the fastest.
You can carry on a legacy.
Then add a couple of these.
And then make everyone want to be like you.
And you can stop there, but you won't. Because you're not done yet.
For the athletes moving the game forward, Gatorade's creating the fuel to do the same. Fueling today, fueling the future.
There's so many lessons to be learned in sports, and I think football is the greatest team game of all sports. You know, things like making a commitment, hard work, discipline. I mean, all these things are things that can really help you be more successful in life. Coaching is teaching. Teaching is the ability to inspire learning. Coaching a player in a drill, trying to help him get better, that's what I enjoy the most. USA football for a better, safer game.
A 6-0 lead for the USA Under-17 national team as we see their offensive starters presented by shock doctor Byron Leckington from Shelley, Idaho. Starting quarterback for Shelley's high school team last couple of years. Ruben Estrada, Joe Basura, Jason Dade, Eliga Hunter, 6'4", 348, and Seth Lambert. The offensive line. You also saw the skill position players for this U.S. Under-17 national team. Scoring on its first drive, but the PAT blocked as Roger Holcomb first carry for him from Baltimore, Maryland. And defensively for Ontario. Secondary, Herzog, Wiley, Straker, and Devin Thompson-Wood. The linebackers, Manalo, Yusuf Smith. And the big defensive line, Stockward, Kripios, Jelasic, and Jacob Spencer. Jelasic at 6'1", 270 pounds. Second down, a long 10. Leckington on the near side, and a lot of space down the field. Dylan Spalding, class of 2018. Bright future for this young man from Lorton, Virginia.
And this is going to be a problem all game long for this team from Ontario. There is a ton of explosive playmakers on this U.S. Under-17 offense. They're going to be all over the field, and simply put, I'm not sure Ontario has the speed to match up on a team-wide basis.
Scott Scherzer, the receiver on the bottom of your screen. Rashawn Bray, Jason Hardy at the top. And Setter, his last carry for a touchdown, and dragging him from his shirt. It was enough to bring him down, Jacob Spencer.
Very disappointing, not a touchdown. You know, it's
offsides,
just...
number 21.
Oh, never mind. It won't count.
5-yard penalty, replay, second down.
Malik Stricker called for the penalty.
Of course, we joke, but the being shot out of a cannon like this offense is, and they are running at turbo speed right now. You know, they've got playmakers all over the field, from the quarterback, who we really haven't seen, have a chance to dazzle us yet, to the running backs, to the wide receivers. There's just weapons all over.
Quick hitch to the far side. And trying to spin away, nowhere to go. Canada there, Malik Yusuf was the first one there to make the tackle on Setter.
And that's the one thing you can't say about Canada. You know, they absolutely, positively swarm to the football, and they don't miss tackles. It's as fundamentally sound a team as you're going to find. The question is, are they going to have the speed to match up on a position-by-position basis? That's ultimately going to tell the tale in this game.
Loss of 2, second down and 7. Final game of the 2016 International Bowl. And, boy, they like tugging on the shirts. It works. As being brought down quickly is Holcomb by that young man, Spencer Smith.
Terrific play from Spencer Smith from his linebacker position. Just shoots in, shoots the gap, knows exactly where it's going, and will not let go from Dundas, Ontario, standing up and making a play for his team, bringing up 3rd and long for the United States.
So the U.S., after having it 1st and 5, backpedaling due to 2 nice defensive plays by this Ontario squad. 3rd and 10 now from the Ontario 34. Leckington awaits the snap. And zings it near side, but too high, incomplete for Spalding. So Ontario comes up big defensively.
Pressure was closing in on Leckington, and he just had to fire it. Ended up missing his receiver, intended for Dylan Spalding, sails over his head, and it looks like they're in that no man's land where it may be too short to punt and too far to kick it. So, hey, why not? You got quite a defense back there as well. See if you can pick up 10 yards.
Well, I think that's a good point. The confidence in the defense, and as we've seen in the first 2 games, no offensive touchdowns yet by these Canadian teams. And so they'll go for it on 4th and 10. The handoff, the reverse, and with a lot of room to the near side, first down and more. That's Jacoby Brown from Albany, Georgia.
You got to be dazzled by Jacoby Brown's breakaway speed, but watch him come into, watch number 11 come into frame here. This is going to be Parker Stone out of Woodbury Forest in Virginia, and he gets a fantastic block. That this play is blown up in the backfield if it's not for him. A great block by Parker Stone springs Jacoby Brown and gives the United States a first down.
So the drive stays alive in the red zone from the Ontario 19. Holcomb. One man to beat. And Roger Holcomb in the end zone.
Oh, sometimes it's rather to be lucky than good, right? Because basically, this is a busted play. Both running backs are going to take a counter step and go towards the ball, but Roger Holcomb's simply going to beat Christian Center to the ball. Take it, cut to the right, and get outside. That's a busted play that ends up being a touchdown, and better lucky than good, right? Look at that. They both come in on it. Pretty amazing stuff.
Pick your poison. Setter with the first touchdown, Holcomb with the second. Just too much speed for the team in white. Is that extra point? Low, but does get through. So these U.S. teams all day dominating. And perhaps we'll have another one here tonight. 13-0 already. The U.S. under-17 squad trying to give the United States the International Bowl crown. Brandon Faircloth has to like what he sees so far. The head coach of the U.S. Under-17 national team, and our profile presented by Just Play Solutions. 7 years as head coach at Port Neches Groves High School in the Golden Triangle in Texas. He has much experience here with USA football. Led the 2014 Under-19 national squad to a 43-7 win over Canada. He has served USA football since 2011.
So when I'm not hanging out here with you, David Saltzman, here in the booth at AT&T Stadium, my straight gig is I write for Texas Football Magazine, Dave Campbell's Texas Football. So we know Brandon Faircloth very, very well. Coach at Port Neches Groves. Bum Phillips once coached there. And you'd think, oh, that's in Texas, right? It's right down the street. 300 miles away from where we are right now. 300 miles away. So he came about as far as some of these kids from Arkansas, Missouri, and Kansas.
Even further, perhaps, as Ontario will start from its own 31. Quite frankly, I mean, you like to see Ontario get some momentum here. I only say that because you see the talent that they may have, but boy, the speed is a disadvantage. How can they get things going here against the U.S.?
I think that what they need to do is complete a couple of passes early and loosen up this defense, because right now they're still playing cover zero. There's still no safeties back there, essentially. And that's going to be a problem, because then they're selling out to stop the run. And until Ontario can show that they can beat them through the air, this game's basically over at 13-0.
Yeah, they're sitting on the run. A loss of 2. Yeah, it was one of the first men there. Dakota Allen, Josh Mays on the tackle as well.
And this defense, from the United States is just so fast all over the field. It's not just the secondary. It's not just the linebackers. The defensive front is fast. It's just a dangerous, dangerous team.
Second down along 11. Blitz coming. Mays gets to Hatcher. Well, remember him, number 66, Joshua Mays, class of 2017, 6'5", 235 from Deerfield, Illinois. No offers yet. He's already made an unofficial visit to Notre Dame. He'll get offers. He'll play on Saturdays one day.
Boy, you saw everything on this play. You see the breakaway speed, and more importantly, you see just the brute strength to power through that big offensive lineman and get to the quarterback. He's going to be doing that a lot here on Friday nights and probably Saturdays.
Daquan Blair, the left tackle, had no chance. From the 23, Ontario needs the 41. Third down. Pressure coming again. Is Hatcher nailed as he throws, and the catch still made. Gabriel Apiakubi from Brampton had to come back to make the grab. He's a yard shy of the marker. Let's see if Ontario goes for it.
That's a tremendous play from Abiakupi because this ball is fluttering and he has to come back to it to make sure he makes the catch. Tremendous field awareness there to come back and get the catch, but still a yard short, and I think Ontario has no choice but to go for it here. I mean, I'd go for it on all 4th and 1s, but I'm also not paid to coach football.
Well, you've seen the U.S. dominate 2 offensive drives. How many chances will Ontario have just to stay in this game, perhaps? At least that's how the early momentum has felt here at AT&T Stadium. He won't get there. They expected number 1 to get the ball. Savani did. Couldn't make it back to the line of scrimmage. And now the United States in prime field position.
That is a tremendous play from John Bailey Goulart out of West Monroe, Louisiana, just shooting in there and stopping him short of the line to gain. That's what you want to see from a linebacker. You want to see him read, diagnose the play, and then attack. And that's exactly what you saw from John Bailey Goulart.
Boy, the U.S. has a chance to put this one out of reach really early here. Canadian teams came in with a 2-1 edge. To be fair, those were 2 Canadian national teams, the under-18 squad with 2 victories, 1 Sunday night and 1 Wednesday night. Here, provincial teams representing Canada well. Too much U.S. so far. Miscommunication and an interception. Miscommunication with the receiver, David Shannon, and a diving play by Malik Straker.
What an interception from Malik Straker. You're absolutely right, David, that there is a total zig when they tell you the zag situation here, but the catch of the game presented by Cutter's Glove, already very early, a diving catch by Malik Straker. Brampton stand up. Ontario gets the ball right back.
But you feel they needed that play too. 20-0 might have been too much to overcome, even though we're only in the first. Now some life. This young team from the province of Ontario. Jonas Hatcher still in at quarterback. Will they throw on first down? Yes! And swinging it out, incomplete.
But that's the thing. And you look at the way that play was setting up with the way that the United States is playing defense with basically nobody deep. You know, they've got a guy, their deepest man is about 10 yards deep. If you could just swing it out and get it out in space, especially to a running back like that, then you're going to have an opportunity to make a couple of plays. But at this point, the United States has no reason to respect Ontario's ability to throw, and so they don't. And so they're just crowding the line of scrimmage and saying, we're going to take away what you do well and force you to do what you haven't proven that you can do yet.
See all the different helmets for these Ontario players. They're high school helmets. Second down and 10. And nowhere to go. And the ball loose. Play not ruled dead. This is going to be a touchdown. Isaiah Humphreys returns it for the score.
A little bit of a bizarre play on this one, but Isaiah Humphreys won't apologize for that. Out of Rowlett, Texas, Saxe High School, just east of here in East Dallas, and he is Johnny on the spot. The scoop and score, and all of a sudden, this feels like a United States romp.
Edwards, the fumble. Isaiah Humphreys, class of 2018, the safety, already with FBS offers, and it's 19-0 with the extra point by Reed to come. Stoink off the upright. And the score remains 19-0. Here's the play again.
Yeah, it just looks like more or less a normal play. but the ball just kind of squirts loose. And what awareness from Isaiah Humphries to see that scoop it and score. You're going to see another angle here. The ball is loose, and sure enough, it looks like it's 43. Laga again from Hawaii punches it out into the waiting arms of Isaiah Humphries. Touchdown, United States.
How good is Saxe High School's football team? You'll know this with your job. We saw in our first game Jalen Maiden, the quarterback for Saxe High School, and the quarterback for the U.S. under-16 squad, just be dominant. 12 of 18 passing, 288 yards, 4 touchdowns, and then a 44-yard touchdown run. He and Humphries, teammates on the high school level.
Well, and the thing is that Saxe, with a great coach in Red Barons is his name, which, by the way, I mean, it's just a pretty amazing name. But they have a history of putting out big-time prospects. Big-time guys who, including quarterbacks, Kent Myers is there, and I believe he's at Utah State these days. So they have a tendency to put out these big-time prospects, but I don't know if they've ever had an embarrassment of riches like they have right now.
19-0. U.S. under-17 squad wants to erase any drama and chance for Canada to even this International Bowl at 3 games apiece. This is the finale. We got things started way back on Sunday. Khalil Wilson is brought down around the 25. Started with the U.S. under-19 national team in a tussle with Canada's under-19 squad. Scoreless until late second quarter. But then they would pull away, win 33-6. And the under-19 select team for the U.S. then fell to the Canada under-18 squad. We were tied at 1 after Sunday, 3-2 U.S. now. USA Football offers athletes in the 6th through 11th grades with the chance to train with the U.S. national team program, compete against top players from the region, and work with current NCAA coaches. Visit usafootball.com/regionals to find a location nearest you. That is ruled a catch and a fumble out of bounds for Savani, so a gain on first down for the Ontario under-17 squad.
But their only passing attack has come to their running backs, have come to guys like Savani, come to guys like Keon Edwards. These guys, they haven't had an opportunity to get the ball out to their wide receivers, and that's basically the story of this game right now. They've got to find a way to stretch the field vertically. Otherwise, the United States is going to get compact, and when the United States gets compact, they're going to get dangerous.
This game was 24-10 last year. The U.S. winning 19-0 already. There's improvement on the Ontario side. What improvement on this U.S. side?
False start. Offense number 2. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Tatsu on the penalty.
And the thing is, David, we've been here watching these Canadian teams, and we've come away really overall very impressed with these Football Canada squads, especially the national teams. The U18 team or the U18 team romped over the United States under-18 national team, and they were the better team against a team of blue chippers. But today it's been a different story, and these provincial teams have not been able to hold up to the United States assault.
Clock winds down in the first quarter. A first quarter dominated by the United States under-17 squad, 19-0. At the International Bowl presented by USA Football on ESPN3.
Start looking for really interesting stories to tell.
presented by Just Play Solutions. A look at Glenn Mills, the head coach of the Ontario Under-17 squad, coached Team Ontario at the Canada Cup, and they won the national championship in 2014. That's a competition of provincial squads across Canada. Longtime head coach of the Essex Rams in Windsor, Ontario. Glenn Mills, the head coach of the Ontario Under-17 squad, making the long trip to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas. Boy, Jacob Savani has been busy, and he's taking a lot of hard hits. A short gain on second down. Great finishing ability here from Dondre Baker out of Oxnard, California, and Cowboys fans will recognize that, and that's where he's probably grown up a bit of a Cowboys fan. That's where they have long done their training camp out there in Oxnard, California, from Rio Mesa High School. 6'1", 230, great frame on that kid, and you're able to see him finish that tackle. The Christian Setter touchdown run made it 6-0 United States. Roger Holcomb added a touchdown run, PAT good, to make it 13-0, and then the fumble recovery and return for a touchdown by Isaiah Humphreys has us at 19-0. Just beginning the second quarter, 3rd and 7 for Ontario. Fading to the near side for Wilson. Way over his reach. And they've got weapons on the outside. Khalil Wilson, a nice size wide receiver at 5'11". They've also got Brandon Tatsu, the 6'1" receiver. But they just haven't been able to hook up. Jonas Hatcher just a little bit off in the early going here, and it's going to force another Ontario punt. And the way things have been going, it's probably going to force another United States touchdown. This competition this year, just with teams from the United States and Canada. We're told they're expected at some point to add teams from Japan and Mexico. Make this even more of an international flair. Kicked by Bobak, sailing out of bounds. And that's the thing, is that, we think of football as an American sport, but in the same way that we've seen basketball become a worldwide sport, in the same way that we've seen, soccer be a worldwide sport, football is becoming a worldwide sport as well, and I'd be interested to see Mexico and Japan squads here next year. Look at all the players come through USA Football. This list presented by Upper Deck. Todd Gurley with the now Los Angeles Rams. Jameis Winston, Tyrann Mathieu, Devin Funchess, Malcolm Brown, and on and on. Alex Carter, Michael Bennett, Quentin Dunbar, the defensive back with the Washington Redskins. Going deep, they want more. David Shannon, that just out of his reach. Well, we were told he had burner speed. He showed it there, but the pass by Taden Blaze just too long. David Shannon leaving just burn marks in the turf here at AT&T Stadium because he was off to the races on a go route, had his man beat, just couldn't put it on him. It'll have to settle for 2nd and 10 here. Devin Funchess, of course, the Carolina Panthers' own. You think he's busy this weekend? You think he's got anything going on? He's got some things on his mind. Oh, okay. Can anyone stop the Panthers? That's the question. And some miscommunication as Blaze has nowhere to go. Taden Blaze, 6'2", 205 from Chaparral High School in Denver, Colorado. Taden Blaze, quite a quarterback name to begin with, but he's a playmaker. We've heard that they were going to try to get a couple of their quarterbacks in because they knew that they had a lot of talent there. He threw for more than 2,100 yards as a sophomore this past year, 19 touchdowns. He is quite a playmaker and a kid who wants to go. Let me break this down for you. If you need a reason to root for him, how about this? Before every game, he has to listen to Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice. That's a kid I want to root for. He also says he wants to be a surgeon. I hope he doesn't play that song before surgeries. False start, USA.
False start, offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty, play 3rd down.
I can't think of a song that pumps me up less than Ice Ice Baby. and yet, that's what gets Taden Blaze going. So whatever works, young man. Listen, I'm not one to criticize. 3rd and 17. The U.S. from its own 42. Byron Luckington was the quarterback in the first quarter for the U.S. from Shelley, Idaho. And again, here's Blaze from Denver, Colorado. They need the Ontario 41. And Blaze to throw. Zipping a pass up the middle, incomplete, and a little behind the intended target. And Jacob Bramer, the tight end. Good coverage here from the linebacker position and from Miles Manalo. He's able to keep with the or the tight end rather, step for step. The Richmond Foster product, Jacob Brammer, they're trying to feed him up the middle, not able to hook up, and all of a sudden, the Canadian, the Ontario defense standing up, getting the ball back. They just need something positive offensively. That's the bottom line of this game. And until something positive happens for them offensively, 19 points might as well be 19,000.
Now here's Hunter Reed, kicker and punter, and the fake, and wide open on the throw, Dylan McDonald. And just the deep man to beat initially before from behind, Reed Wiley chases him down. The direct snap to Anthony Gurley, and he finds McDonald.
Well, this is quite a play, especially when you're already up, but a fantastic dump-off pass, actually. Gotta admit, that's really, really impressive. And you saw Brandon Faircloth, the coach of the United States team, kind of fist bump one of his coordinators down there, and for good reason. They pulled one over on the Ontario team there and got them down into the red zone. Great play call.
From the Ontario 19, there's McDonald from Parsippany, New Jersey. Stands 6 feet 215, and good run after the catch as well. Logan Taylor and a quarterback. I think the United States was just slow to get on the field offensively.
Timeout, United States. It's their first timeout.
So 2 remaining for the U.S., still with 8:56 to go in the first half. The United States under-17 national squad at the International Bowl looking to extend a 19-0 lead.
Well, USA football, educating and bringing people up to speed as far as the safety, as far as the proper techniques, is something that cannot be overlooked in our sport, and it's something that's one of the reasons I like to coach. You're involved in something bigger than you. It teaches you to be selfless and to care about your teammate, and that's why I do what I do. That's why we teach so hard. I call that a fundamental. USA football for a better, safer game.
This is where games are played, where friendships are forged, where kids come to have fun. This is where coaches teach fundamentals, where respect is both learned and earned, and memories last long after the clock reaches 0. This is USA football.
On ESPN3 is brought to you by Riddell, the official helmet and shoulder pad of USA Football. By Gatorade, the official sports nutrition partner of USA Football. By Sports Authority, official sporting goods retail partner of USA Football. And by Upper Deck, official football card provider of the U.S. national team.
Great week of football, showing off the growth of football, not just in the United States among these great high school athletes, but also from our friends up in Canada. But it's been a day that has belonged to these United States squads. Wins over provincial teams from Alberta and Ontario, and the U.S. looking for the second win over a team from Ontario. And whoa, that would have been perhaps 6, or at least a big return by Spencer Smith if he could have held on.
Spencer Smith drops into coverage, and he's responsible for covering this running back, which is not an easy task against this offense, which uses those so well. But Spencer Smith, second time we've called his name, just a playmaker from the linebacker position. You know, the days of the big, plodding middle linebacker are done. This is becoming more of a hybrid position. You got to be able to cover. And Spencer Smith flashing some big-time potential there.
Logan Taylor, the quarterback from King George, Virginia, hands it off to Jay Griffin, his first carry from Montreal, Missouri. And lots of about 1. It's going to be third down and close to 11.
From Camdenton High School is Jay Griffin, and they are the Lakers. It's down by the Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. Mm-hmm. And I know a guy who went to Camdenton High School. Now I know 2. How about that?
Small world.
It is a very small world.
Logan Taylor stands at 6'2", 190. Missed the whole high school season due to a concussion. So looking to get his feet back under him, and as we see some early movement on the United States. So good to see him back and healthy, Logan Taylor.
Number 1 offense, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
David Shannon too fast off the line, which plan on us saying David Shannon too fast a little bit tonight. He is a burner out of Florida, and Florida has just had a tendency of putting out big-time speed. There's always a lot of speed that comes out of the state of Florida, and David Shannon has been the guy that the coaches told us, keep your eye on, because he can absolutely fly.
3rd and 16 now. Pressure coming, trying to set up the screen, and they do find Griffin. Cutting inside past the 10, fumbled, recovered by the United States. 1st and goal at the 1.
There's just a lot going on here. First of all, Logan Taylor can only put this in one spot and manages to thread the needle to Jay Griffin. Jay Griffin cuts inside. An outstanding play. Looks like he's heading to the end zone. Gets popped loose, and Johnny on the spot is Parker Stone. The wide receiver falls on it down inside the 1-yard line, and a lot of wacky things, but it all adds up to 1st and goal.
The U.S. already up 19. Looking to really make things tough for our friends from Ontario. Brandon Fouts is the tailback. He gets the call, and did he get over? Yes, touchdown. Fouts from Imperial, Mississippi puts the U.S. up 25-0.
The United States comes out in a heavy set to the right, and they've got a fullback, they've got a tight end, they've got all sorts of linemen. It's an unbalanced set, an extra lineman on the right side, and Brandon Fouts, Mr. Plow, that's my name. That name again is Mr. Plow. Touchdown, United States.
Reed is 1 of 3 on PAT, so give it a shot here. And that one goes right through. 26-0. All U.S. as they look to take home the International Bowl. It was 3-2 United States over Canada heading into this one tonight. And the U.S. under-17 squad in control.
NFL Flag, powered by USA Football, is an exciting way to get into the game. NFL Flag is fun and fast-paced, emphasizing football, fitness, fundamentals, teamwork, and sportsmanship. Leagues are easy to start and open to both boys and girls ages 5 to 17. All NFL Flag players receive a USA Football membership as well as an official NFL team jersey, flag set, and insurance, an incredible value. Coaches receive a USA Football membership and insurance as well. So sign up now to become a better player and have fun with NFL Flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
What does it take to become elite? It takes more than dedication, focus, and hard work. It takes an elite-level training program. Customized, sport-specific, online. Your perfect workout every time. That's Volt Athletics.
My dad was a high school football coach, and he wouldn't let me play till I have the proper coaching, and I'm a big believer in that. And I think with what USA Football is doing, their clinics and their teachings, it's going to be great for the game. I think all high school and youth coaches should adopt heads-up football. I think for the safety of their players, it's first and foremost. We all love the game, we all want to win, but first and foremost is those players learning the proper techniques, get them certified so we know what our young people are learning. Heads-up football for a better, safer game.
26-0 now. The U.S. under-17 squad dominating under the under-17 team from the province of Ontario. This was a 24-10 game last year between these two teams, with the U.S. winning But so far, Greg Tipper, all United States on both sides of the ball.
And you're seeing why. They've got the speed, and beyond that, they've got the ability to do a lot of different things offensively. Beyond that, the defense has just been suffocating all day long.
Savani, nice return. And Reed, his second special teams tackle, the kicker, knocks Savani down just past the 40.
Jacob Savani, one of the lone bright spots offensively and really moving the ball at all for this Ontario team. He's able to get to the sideline, weave his way down, and that's what they're going to need. They're going to need a big explosive play just to loosen things up, just to make the United States think that they can do it. Because right now, the United States doesn't. And that's just the bottom line of it. And until that happens, this Ontario team's going to be stuck in the mud offensively.
Looks like Hatcher remains in a quarterback. A four wide set from the 42. Stepping back, setting up the screen, and they do to Edwards. Thrown down, but just shy of the marker. A nice play on first down.
That's what you do. You set up plays that you know are going to get you some positive yardage, and they do a great job here of setting up the screen. They dump it off to Keon Edwards. He gets a nice block out there by John Cordes and is able to spring him for a nice 9-yard gain. And when you've got this pass rush, which has absolutely pinned its ears back like the United States has, then that's a nice way of kind of making them respect a little bit more.
Did you see Josh Mays, though, from his defensive end spot? He crept up the whole way and caught up to Edwards to make the stop. An elite athlete, Josh Mays from Deerfield, Illinois. Right up the middle, ball loose. Looks like the United States has it. And they do. Second turnover for Ontario. And it's Isaiah Humphreys, who earlier had the fumble return for a score. His second fumble recovery of the game.
The handoff goes up the middle to Keon Edwards, and he just can't hang on to it. The ball gets stripped loose. Let's see who gets a paw on it. Can't catch a number. I know it ended in a 3, which narrows it down, but Isaiah Humphreys, again, Johnny on the spot. Great awareness, falling on the ball, and United States back in business and looking to really, it's already salted away, but can you garlic salt it away, pepper it away?
Well, look what they do, Greg. 5 wide set. And back in the game is Leckington, and that pass dropped. A little high for Shannon, but he couldn't haul it in.
Well, and you can see exactly what they want to do there, right? They want to get the ball out to David Shannon and say, hey, get out there, big boy, and let's get that track speed going. He does, he's not able to hold on to the ball, but he had a couple blockers in front, and now some wholesale line changes here for the United States.
Mitchell Moeller in at wide up from Cedarburg, Wisconsin. Rashawn Bray from Columbus, Georgia, among the wideout core on second down and 10. Brian Leckington started the game at quarterback. No touchdown throws yet. And trying to cut to the outside, nowhere to go. Setter brought down for a loss of 4.
Brent Queering, the defensive lineman out of Aylmer, Ontario, is going to come right off the right side. They're pulling a guy, and he just follows him all the way back, all the way to the to the ball carrier, and knocks him down for a loss. Great athletic play from the 6'4", 220 kid out of Aylmer, Ontario. I'm going to go with. Apologies to our friends in Aylmer.
3rd and 14 now. The U.S. needs the Ontario 45. Leckington to throw. Quickly up the middle, too high, intercepted. Anthony Abell. And Ontario sets up shop inside the United States 40.
If you're a quarterback and you're going to miss, don't miss high. And in this instance, that's what you're going to see happen to Leckington. He's going to drop back, fire, miss his target way high, and it finds its way into the hands of Abelli, who is more than happy to take it. The product of Delhi, Ontario, into his waiting arms and returns it all the way to the 37. And this is the kind of thing that can help the Ontario offense. You get a big play, now you got a bit of a tired defense. Maybe they can take advantage here on a short field.
Can't catch up the whole way on one drive, but looking to slowly but surely get involved. Look at the press coverage by everyone for the United States. And the spinning grab made. Khalil Wilson Best grab by an Ontario receiver today, and that was impressive as he beats Azizi Hearn.
And you know what? He's being interfered with on this one, too. Khalil Wilson fights through what is ultimately a penalty on number 38 for the United States and is able to get his body turned around and grab it, stay in bounds. A tremendous catch. Wow, excellent catch from Khalil Wilson. Easily the best offensive play of the day for this squad.
The Canadian team has not had an offensive touchdown all day. Can they find one here? Savani. Gain of 5.
Don't have to get it all back at once. You know, all you have to do if you are the Ontario team right now is stay ahead of the chain, 4 yards at a time. Just don't take that big loss, which is what's been so crippling to this offense.
From the 11, Ontario needs the 6. Off the interception. Pistol set for Jonas Hatcher. They'll run with Savani, trying to cut it outside, and nothing doing. Boy, lunging and holding on to the ankle. That's a great tackle made by Anthony Gurley.
And here's the thing. If Anthony Gurley gets beat on this, check out behind him. Tell me who's behind him. The answer is nobody. I mean, he is gone if he doesn't grab him right there. That's a touchdown for Ontario. A touchdown-saving tackle for Anthony Gurley. You know, we talk about touchdown-saving tackles generally coming like all the way down the field. If you look behind where he was, there was nobody there. That was all green, all glory for the running back there. A great tackle from Gurley.
3rd and 4, same formation. You see, they go more conventional with this under 17 squad, just 2 wides. And the heavy backfield. Dumping it off to the tight end. And knocked out of bounds just shy of the goal line. Wells Carabin from King City almost got there.
They're just going to leak him out from basically the fullback position, and he will catch it and turn it upfield, and he is a load to bring down, 242 pounds. The guy tackling him there is Isaiah Humphreys at 175 pounds, giving up almost 75 pounds there and knock him just shy there. This is the biggest opportunity for an Ontario team today.
Looking to get right back into this game late in the first half. 1st and goal from the 1 with Hatcher under center. He got bumped as he hands it off, and it looks like Savani is short. Yes. 2nd and goal coming now.
I thought maybe he had lunged across, but apparently his knee was down before he got there. As you're going to see, first of all, they try to pull somebody. I don't know if I love that play call. I think I would have just gone straight ahead, plow straight ahead, and do strength on strength. No, he is short. That's a great call by this officiating crew, putting him inside the 1 yard line.
Under 2 minutes left now in the first half.
You just got a quarterback sneak this, right? You got to get on the board.
Well, Hatcher under center. U.S. crowds the line. And here comes the sneak. Ontario's got it. The first offensive touchdown by a Canadian team today. It's a confidence now for the team in red as Jonas Hatcher scores from 1 yard out.
And that's all you need. You know, that play before that inside the 1 where they're trying to pull a guy around, trying to basically run a trap play, that's too many moving parts. Sometimes it's just power. And you just got to take your big hog mollies, push them forward, get them into the end zone, touchdown for Canada, and that's something we haven't been able to say today. Well, no, offensively. There was a defensive touchdown earlier.
That's right, the only touchdown before that by a Canadian team. A pick 6 in our first game of the day with the Alberta under 16 squad. Bobak's extra point is good. It makes it 26-7. We've seen some razzle-dazzle by the United States teams today, some unexpected trickery.
Yeah, last game was full of it.
What will Ontario do here? Down 26-7. Obviously, they need much more.
And the thing is, if you're Ontario, yes, you just got a great touchdown drive. And that's fantastic, and you should feel really good about that. But let's also remember that was set up by a defensive play. That was set up by a game where it got you deep into United States territory. I think maybe you think about onside.
Each year, USA Football offers youth and high school programs with more than $2 million in grants, providing teams with much-needed helmets, shoulder pads, uniforms, field, and AEDs. If you're interested in receiving funding from USA Football, visit usafootball.com/grants. so many ways which USA Football provides to communities all across the country, not just their grants, but their regional development camps, national development camps, heads up football to teach health and safety education. Just a wonderful organization. We've had the pleasure of getting to know so many people behind the scenes here at the International Bowl, involved with USA Football all year long.
And you and I have done a number of events kind of like this, big football celebrations, and this is a top-class event. This is the kind of event, as you're going to get a timeout here from Ontario, this is the kind of event that is the envy of a lot of other events. It's well run. It's things have gone off without a hitch. And I know that talking to some of the fans here, they've really enjoyed their experience here at AT&T Stadium.
Yeah, I think this was the last step. It was already a great event, but to move it here to this place, to AT&T Stadium, who everyone knows about, the huge TV and scoreboard that goes from one 20-yard line to the other. I think it was the icing on the cake, if you will, for what already was a great event. This the 7th year now of the International Bowl.
So on Wednesday, I called 2 games with Ted Emmerich, a guy that you're familiar with, and actually his father, Roger Emmerich, the Texas Radio Hall of Famer, is actually doing PA here right now at AT&T Stadium. But he called this the Cathedral of Football, and that's an appropriate term.
U.S. National Team alumni presented by Upper Deck. We looked at players playing in the NFL. How about playing college ball? Samaje Perine for Oklahoma, Corey Coleman for Baylor, Kevin Hogan, Justin Jackson, the great young quarterback at Arizona, Anu Solomon, DeMarcus Ayers for the University of Houston, Terrion Folston for Notre Dame, and just down the road in Fort Worth, just west of here, Aaron Green at running back for TCU. That ball out of bounds. I wonder if Boback meant to kick that shorter to give his teammates maybe a chance to catch up to it.
I think that he was trying to go for the quote-unquote long onside kick, kind of find a gap in the coverage there. Wasn't able to pin it down there, and it's going to give the United States good field position. Minute 42, 2 timeouts, explosive offense. This is a dicey spot here for the Canada defense. 4
touchdowns by the U.S. today.
Legal formation on the kicking team. 5-yard penalty, re-kick.
Brandon Faircloth will have them re-kick. 4 touchdowns for the U.S. today, 3 on the ground, and a fumble return for a touchdown by Isaiah Humphries.
Well, let me tell you, if you've got a guy back there like David Shannon, and he's flanked by Roger Holcomb, and he's flanked on the other side, I can't catch the number over there, but, you got such speed out there. Why not? Why not have him re-kick it and see if you can get it into the hands of one of your big-time playmakers, make something exciting happen?
That's one reason why I wondered. I know we're just late second quarter. Why not bring out the onside kick? But thinking if that was the intention on kick number 1, maybe Michael Boback will just kick it away here on his second try. USA Football and Football Canada bringing us here all week for a wonderful event, the 2016 International Bowl. Glad you've been with us all week long here on ESPN3. Christian Setter with the return and brought down. Devontae Smickle with the tackle.
Nice tackle on the special teams coverage. And overall, the special teams coverage part of it for these Canadian teams has been solid. Kind of like all their tackling. Their tackling in this week has been solid. It's been in the playmaking department where they really haven't had great success, maybe with the exception of a couple on those U18 teams.
Join the USA Football and USA National Team conversation on your favorite social media channels by using hashtag #EarnYourStars. On Twitter at USA Football, also Facebook.com/USA Football, and you can follow the U.S. national teams at USNFT on Twitter and Instagram. Short gain on first down by Holcomb, who has a touchdown run today. And now Ontario will look to use their timeout. I was wondering why they hadn't, and just a few seconds went off before
Canada. That's their second timeout of the game.
They finally stopped the clock with 1:14 left. 1 timeout remaining now for Ontario.
And to your point that you brought up a little bit before, this does feel like a premier event now.
Please reset the game clock to 1:18. Okay. 1:18.
I'll get right on that. Let me finish this point, though. So it does feel like a big event here, right? Here at AT&T Stadium, where it's kind of a destination. People want to come here and see here, and you can see it on the faces in talking to the fans here that this is an event. This is something that is a reward for these kids from USA Football and from Football Canada. There are other great stadiums out there, but this is the preeminent football playing venue in the nation right now, and for these kids to get that opportunity there, it is, I think, something special.
You know when you're on the giant scoreboard high atop AT&T Stadium. There's no way not to know. Fans having fun here late in the first half. Short run for Holcomb. Ontario, one timeout left.
Look at that thing.
Yeah, that's mighty large. So this is my first time here. At least Sunday was for my first games with you.
That's a third and final timeout.
You know it's big. Yeah, you hear about it, you see it on TV. You have no idea just how huge that scoreboard is until you're actually here at AT&T Stadium.
The whole experience here at AT&T Stadium is just a little bit overwhelming. That you just look around, you're like, wow, this is just too much. It goes on and on and on. Of course, this hosts such huge events. The Texas High School Football State Championship games have been here. They had 54,000 here for a high school football game a couple of years ago. So this is the preeminent venue in the nation.
In support of high school football across the United States, USA Football is launching USA Football 7-on-7 Championship Series this summer. Built by high school coaches for high school coaches. USA Football 7-on-7 program will feature 10 state or regional championships and 1 national championship. Check out the tournament schedule at 7on7.usafootball.com. I think you mentioned in our second game, 7-on-7 football is huge here in the state of Texas. It's growing in the United States, and USA Football now becoming a big part of that.
Yeah, it's the passing league where you're getting these quarterbacks that are developing into real superstars, and you're really kind of teaching these wide receivers and defensive backs just the next level and how to get that work in the off season. 7-on-7 football exploding, and USA Football really striking while the iron's hot.
Ontario used its final timeout after second down, so they cannot stop the clock at this point. You see the difference in the game clock and play clock. The USA can get it down to right around 16, 17 seconds before snapping it on fourth down. I think Ontario will come after Hunter Reed here. And as the play clock runs down,
that's their second timeout.
The USA will use their second timeout. The day got started with a 43-6 win, the U.S. under-16 squad over the Alberta under-16 team. And then the U.S. under-18 select squad, impressive, especially in the second half as they pulled away from a game Ontario under-18 unit, 34-3. And here, 26-7. The U.S. under-17 team looking to give the United States the International Bowl. USA Football offers high schools and youth programs the chance to see the nation's premier health and safety education and training program. Heads Up Football delivers training on equipment fitting, proper tackling and blocking technique, and education on concussion management, heat and hydration, and sudden cardiac arrest. Visit usafootball.com/heads-up to learn how your football program can register for Heads Up Football. 8 on the line for Ontario. Let's see if they try to, again, bring the heat on Hunter Reed. And Reed does get the punt away. Angling towards the far side, and then takes an Ontario bounce. And with just 5 seconds left, let's see what Ontario decides to do.
Might as well heave it deep, right? I mean, you got not a whole lot left to lose. 5 seconds here left in this half. And United States can stop the clock, but not that they would. They're going to play very deep. See if you can get a guy behind the defense, see if something crazy will happen. Who knows?
Looks like the U.S. will have 2 deep safeties, Humphreys and Gurley, who right now are set up at the U.S. 35. At a third, and Nathaniel Knight from Silver Spring, Maryland. Jonas Hatcher's played the whole first half. And flag thrown.
This will be too many men on the United States.
Substitution infraction on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, first down.
And just another thing that kind of comes along with spending time together. Remember, these are teams that have only been together really since Monday. And so they're not as polished as maybe some other teams that may be when they've spent months and months together. Still outrageously talented, but sometimes those little things kind of get lost in the wash.
So now from their own 41. Likely the final play of the half. Will Hatcher even have time to throw? There's a flag down and maybe a face mask as well as Hatcher goes down. 2 flags in total.
Jackson Yost getting in the backfield and bringing down the quarterback Hatcher.
Personal foul, face mask, defense, number 84, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
I thought perhaps initially there would be a hold. Both flags are due to the face mask. Now, there's no time on the clock, but you cannot end the half on a defensive penalty. So now Ontario from the USA 40 perhaps to heave it deep enough to get it into the end zone.
Yeah, from 44 yards out, you got to think that if Jonas Hatcher has time, he'll be able to hit the end zone from here. But that has not been a gimme for them.
Hatcher in the shotgun, 4 wides. USA brings 3. Pressure comes right away. No chance for Hatcher to get a throw off. Jesse Sims from Bothell, Washington ends the half in style.
Yeah, here you go. I'll hold it up.
An appropriate end to this half in a dominant defensive effort for the United States.
26-7, the U.S. Under-17 national team all over Ontario's Under-17 squad. The 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football on ESPN3.
International Bowl on ESPN3 is brought to you by EA Sports Madden NFL 16, official video game partner of USA Football. By Volt Athletics, official strength and conditioning partner of the U.S. National Team. By Just Play Solutions, official digital playbook partner of the U.S. National Team. And by FlipGive, official fundraising partner of USA Football.
Halftime, the final game of the 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football, and what a week it has been for USA Football. In fact, they've just produced a documentary we'll watch now called Football for Life. It's a documentary chronicling the experience of the U.S. national team during this International Bowl week.
Take one.
It's official, it's official.
I'ma do this here forever. Forever. 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 I'ma do this here forever.
There's a saying that everything is bigger in Texas. And while this usually rings true, it most certainly applies to both the home of the Cowboys and the 7th installment of the International Bowl. This annual contest pits a team of under-19 American stars against their counterparts north of the border. And while on paper it might seem to favor the home team, history has shown a distinctly competitive affair.
The last high school game of your career before you sign that on the dotted line. Just knowing that I'm going to Dallas Stadium and I'm representing my whole country is just a big honor and blessing.
And while the U.S. roster boasts over 20 top 300 recruits, there is a clear expectation in regards to the nature of the competition.
This is not an all-star game, okay? I'll repeat it one more time. We are not an all-star game. You are the U.S. national team. As much as you guys grow up to dream and put a Division I ball cap on, your opponent dreams of coming over here and slapping you around.
On your jersey, the USA across your jersey is a whole different thing. I don't plan to lose. I'll go for two, I'll onside kick. We're gonna go for every punt. We're gonna do all those kinds of things and have fun. We don't plan to lose. So we're gonna play the best guys.
The U.S. roster has included past greats that can be known by a single name: Gurley, Jameis, and Honey Badger. So as the 2016 edition heads to their first practice, the focus is squarely on the task at hand.
If I turn like this, I can't play C-gap, can I? Because now, in order to make a play behind me, I got to do something miraculous like that. See it?
The true question for Team USA lies not in talent, but rather sacrifice. Whether the players are willing to give of themselves for the good of the team.
You know, all of these kids are going to big Division I schools. I mean, you know, sometimes when you get high caliber athletes, all-American athletes, five-star athletes, they think that it's about them. It's about how many plays they can make, how many yards they can gain, how many balls they can catch. But you know, football's all about team, and it seems like these kids understand that.
The U.S. staff has been assembled from around the country. Amongst them, running backs coach Cody Hawkins, who quarterbacked the Americans to gold in 2011 at the World Championships. Knowledge he's happy to share with his players.
I know it's early, we gotta go. It's right to 8:28 and get a ready break. All right, I want a good clap. Run the show. Let's go, baby.
To get anybody to become part of a team, you really have to unite them towards a common goal. You can really start to get a sense that the United States is much different than representing a brand or a certain region. It's your country.
The Stars and Stripes firepower lies at the skill position, led by the trio of Alabama-bound Trayvon Diggs, USC commit Trayvon Sidney, and top-rated athlete Mecole Hardman Jr.
Get a break. Good job.
Among a talented group of quarterbacks, Ohio State-bound Dwayne Haskins Jr. credits the national team program for an important part of his development.
I think I've learned a lot as a player, you know, from that first USA game at like 5'6", 150 pounds to senior year, 6'3", 205 pounds. It's been crazy just to see how much I've grown. So it's just crazy to think that, man, I was part of the first game and I get to finish it out this way.
Despite sharing an equal level of talent to the rest of the squad, UCLA commit Austin Kent still faces the struggle of all kickers, having a part of the field for himself.
Nice and easy. Don't try to kill it. There it is.
The whole practice we'll just aim at poles because kicking is all visuals, and if you can get your visuals down, just all you gotta do is swing and the rest just comes easy.
Later that afternoon, it was the Canadians' turn under the warm Texas sun, and they wasted little time going to work.
Need 3, on the media, let's go!
Leading the Canadian squad is a familiar face in international football, York University head coach Warren Craney.
It's one of my favorite times of year coming here. Playing football, being Canadian, but playing football in the state of Texas, it's an absolute dream. And our kids appreciate every second being here. And as a coach, I've loved it from the first time I did it, and it just keeps getting better and better every year.
After practice, U.S. team got a sneak peek inside Cowboys Stadium.
Don't move, bro. Yeah! I don't even like the Cowboys, bro. Oh my gosh. Bro, this thing is... Bro, if my grandma was there, bro, she had a heart attack.
Where their new uniforms were to be revealed. It provided the perfect opportunity for linebacker Jaquan Lee to grill his teammates.
Who's the best between you and your brother? Oh. Hold on, wait. We didn't catch that. Who's the best now?
Me.
You the best? Well, you heard it from here, folks. Trayvon Diggs is better than Stephon Diggs. Just give me a couple words how you're feeling right now as we speak.
I'm excited, ready to play and get this dub.
So, how does it feel to be in the Cowboys Stadium?
It feels pretty good. Last time I was here, my dad was coaching, so...
Your dad was coaching?
Oh,
so your dad was the Cowboys coach, huh?
Uh-huh.
Ooh.
I mean, with my hair flow, it's just the attractiveness.
Yeah, that's pretty long. That's pretty long. Oh my God. Oh my. Oh Lord. Man, Dad's know you want me to sit right there. Tony Romo. Hey, by the end of this guy. So, sir, excuse me, sir. Do you see this? Do you see this? Son, Lee. I'm cute, boy. I'm cute. LL Cool J. I need love. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're here from the best, the greatest, Jaquan Ewing. Till next time.
But it was a more serious keynote from an Iraqi war veteran that helped the players understand what representing your country is all about.
Here's what I learned, gents. Not one time was it ever about me. You're fighting for your guy to your left and your right. Every awesome experience I had to do with a team setting. Coming from a team, coming from a tribe. Because I didn't call my Marines my team. Because if you're a team, you just wear the same uniform. If you're a tribe, you're a family. Because you're playing for the very flag that I saw men fight, bleed, and die for.
Perhaps the analogy to war is too often made when it comes to the game of football. It is easy to speak in cliches of trenches, ground attacks, and aerial assaults. However, the themes of brotherhood, teamwork, and pride are equally present.
1, 2, 3, charge!
And even more valuable than X's and O's when it comes to deciding the victor. The International Bowl is 2 days away.
International Bowl on ESPN3 is brought to you by Siege Sports, official uniform provider of the U.S. national teams. By Field Turf, official field building grant partner of USA Football. By Physio Control, official AED partner of USA Football.
26-7, the USA under-17 national team, leading the under-17 squad from the province of Ontario. Welcome back to AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas, the 2016 International Bowl, presented by USA Football. David Salzman, Greg Tepper, and Greg, the highlights mostly include what the team in white has been able to dominate here today.
You're going to notice a theme here, and that is going to be that the defense for the United States does something good, and then the offense for the United States does something good as Christian Setter sets the tone with a first play touchdown run. And then this one, you know, we kind of joked about it. Both running backs ended up going for the ball, but it's Roger Holcomb who gets the touchdown run, and then the defense comes up with a big play. The ball's going to squirt loose here there's just a complete assault onto the quarterback here. Jonas Hatcher has not had time to throw. And then you look at one of the rare bright spots for this Canadian team, an interception there by Malik Straker, but just not enough. The ball's going to pop loose here, and Johnny on the spot here for the United States is Isaiah Humphries. He takes it back to the house, and it's just put so much of the United States, and they are a word. You see the scoreline, you see 26-7. Go, oh well, maybe the scoreline's not indicative of the way this game has gone. No, it's absolutely indicative. In fact, it might be a little kind.
Ontario's football continues to improve year after year, but the improvement of these younger United States national teams. We saw the U.S. 19 national team, and almost the entire roster is going to be on some sort of FBS football roster next season. Maybe not a surprise they won, but the 17, 16-year-old teams are really dominating today. As we look at the halftime stats, 152 total yards for the U.S. under-17 national team, but well-balanced. The U.S. defense forcing Ontario to throw, which is not their strength. One of the 4 touchdowns for the United States, a fumble recovery and return for a touchdown, as we saw in the highlights by Isaiah Humphrey.
And I don't think that the United States offense has been overwhelming. It's been good. It hasn't been outrageously good, but the defense has put it in a position to really succeed.
Second half underway, and the U.S. gets the ball first. Christian Setter on the return, trying to cut it back and brought down shy of the 35. Our final game of the 2016 International Bowl, 6th game pitting a U.S. team with a team from the country of Canada. Canadian national teams went 2-1 with the under-18 team winning twice, one Sunday night, once on Wednesday night. But the provincial teams have had their share of trouble against these younger U.S. national teams here today. Many of these players you see will hope to take part, perhaps not in 2016, but in 2018 at the International Federation of American Football Under-19 World Championships, the 2016 event taking place in China in July. And the U.S. and Canada have been 1-2 in some particular order in the last 2 events. 2014 in Kuwait City, the U.S. with a victory. 2012 down in Austin, Canada defeated the United States as Rashawn Bray gets that first down carry.
First time we've called the name of Rashawn Bray in any sort of meaningful fashion here today. The George Washington Carver product out of Columbus, Georgia. Real long. He's 6 foot, but his arms feel like they fall down to his ankles. A great frame on him.
Oh, and not only almost losing the ball, but goodness, was Logan Taylor drilled down to the turf by Justin Jelasic, and thankfully, Taylor is okay.
Yeah, Justin Jelasic, you're going to see number 70, Seth Lambert, try to cut block him and just flat out whiff on it, and that gives Justin Jelasic a free shot at the quarterback, and kaboom! Keeps his head up. It's a clean tackle. It's a safe tackle, but goodness, he felt every one of those 70 pounds.
You saw Logan Taylor go down to the sideline, but that was just to get the next play call, as the big 6'2 quarterback from King George, Virginia, awaits the snap on 3rd and 11. And just hang it off right up the middle. They need the 44 and just shy a gain of 10 for Griffin.
And a good pusher. They're going to pull both the left guard and the left tackle. They seal it off, get a nice hole up the middle, but give a lot of credit to Miles Manalo. Another time we're calling his name tonight. He's had a whale of a ball game there at the linebacker spot, holding him short of the first down, and United States forced to punt. All things considered, not a bad start for Ontario.
Well, they'll need points, and you would think soon, because how likely is the Ontario defense able to keep the U.S. off the scoreboard? Ontario will get the chance offensively after this punt.
Remember, we already saw one fake punt.
Well, funny, I was about to say we've seen trickeration from all these teams today for the United States. 4th and 1. Where's the snap going to? Oh, this is Gurley. He needs the 44. He's got it.
We're getting good at this.
Well, it's one of those things where even if you know what's coming, can you stop the speed of the United States squad? And Gurley only got 3, but it was enough.
And great blocking on the edge to set the tone and make sure that they're able to seal it off, and he is able to turn it upfield. I think a lot of guys like Anthony Gurley, defensive backs and guys who return punts, they want to dance. They don't want to get north and south, but Anthony Gurley, knowing he just needs 1 yard, gets north and south in a hurry and says, I'm probably not scoring a touchdown here, but that's okay.
You're also confident in that play if you're Brendan Faircloth, because the defense has been so good. Even if you don't convert, you feel good about your defense able to stop Ontario. But the drive for the U.S. continues, a gain of 2 on first down for Brandon Fouts, who had a touchdown midway through the second quarter.
Brandon Fouts, you get the feeling, really understands what this whole thing is about, what playing for the United States is about. He's a guy who has said what an honor it is to play for the United States, and he considers this an achievement. And I think that's the appropriate feeling for a lot of these players on this team.
Blitz coming as Lexington gets it off, but no gain. In fact, a loss on second down, back to the original line of scrimmage for Sutter.
Chip Kyprios, the defensive lineman, in on the stop from Aurora, Ontario. And, overall, when you've seen the strength of these Canadian teams, it's been, generally speaking, in the fronts. It's been in the defensive fronts and the offensive fronts, and that's another case of it. The other thing about this Ontario team, they don't have tremendous depth. Their roster's about half the size of this United States.
3rd and 10. Lexington to throw. Catch made, but shy of the marker. Jacoby Brown marked down on the Ontario 47. It'll be 4th and 3.
Malik Yusuf is going to give up the reception here, but then he's given up nothing else, and that's a great play from a linebacker. If you're in coverage and you know that it's 3rd and about 11, 3rd and about 10, all you got to do is make sure you keep him in front of it. That's a really heads-up play by Malik Yusuf, although it looks like the United States will go for it.
Yep, Brian Lexington, who started at quarterback for the U.S. today, class of 2017 from Shelley, Idaho. Starting quarterback for that program that won state titles in 2012 and 2013. Awaiting the shotgun snap, 4th and 3. And on the quick out, they get enough for the first down again. The second 4th down conversion of the drive. Dylan Spalding with the grab.
Dylan Spalding's just a big kid. There's no other way to say it. From Lorton, Virginia, South County High School. 6'1", 215 for a wide receiver. He's a wide tight end playing wide receiver, basically, and that's becoming the norm. You've got to have big-time size to be a top-tier wide receiver, and that's what you're seeing from Dylan Spalding. He picks up the first down on 4th and 3.
From the Ontario 42. And timeout just before the snap. Stoppage of play here. May just be an official's timeout, as we may have had an equipment issue with Aiden Alkalani for Ontario.
We were talking about Dylan Spalding. Huge numbers for South County High School. 69 catches, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. He's used to those big moments, and he came through with another one there.
Holcomb. And nothing doing. This Ontario team is much better at stopping the run here in this second half.
That's promising. That's the kind of thing you need to do to get the ball back. But for the United States, here you go. It's already you've already had the ball. You received the opening kickoff, and you're about to eat half of the third quarter. They are basically, with this drive, trying to end any sort of comeback hopes, even if they don't score. But if they just eat the kind of clock that they're doing, that's going to do really big damage to Ontario's chances.
Jake Griffin the tailback, but it'll be Lexington to throw. And to the sideline. Did he get a foot in bounds? Yes. Well, it's a beautiful throw, and Jacoby Brown makes the catch.
This is a really, really nice play by Brian Lexington. He's going to roll to his right, and at that moment, about a second before he throws it, he could have thrown it. But at that point, there was a lot better coverage around his wide receiver, Jacoby Brown. Instead, he waits for that extra second, leads his player. He might have been stepping out of bounds. In any case, no replay in this game, and the first down to the 15-yard line will stand.
Yeah, I think not might. I think he certainly did. You saw the front part of that foot touched the white out of bounds. The U.S. gets the break. Now in the red zone. Lexington cutting it inside. He's got it, a touchdown. All of the offensive touchdowns for the U.S. in this game on the ground, and it's the quarterback, Lexington, getting involved.
Not necessarily known for his legs, although maybe he should be. He's a guy who does run track for Shelley High School, and he gets out there, and he can motor. And he's getting out there, lowers his shoulder, make sure he gets into the end zone for those last few yards. Those are always the toughest. A touchdown for the United States, and now a 7-minute drive that ends in a touchdown. That pretty much ends it.
Yeah, right. 6 minutes, 54 seconds to be exact to start the second half. Before the PAT, there's an Ontario player down on one knee in the end zone. And now getting up and slowly walk off the field on his own power, and that is Straker. So 32-7.
Straker, of course, the one with the interception earlier in this game, that really incredible diving interception. Took a lick there. Good to see him walking off the field. Hopefully he'll be back real soon.
Well, I don't know if we would have been surprised coming in if we would see the U.S. win all 3 games. I'm very surprised with how one-sided these games have been.
I am too. I'm surprised that the United States has come out and the game plan that they've had has been spot on, considering how well these Canada coaches are coached. But ultimately, for every punch that Canada's thrown, the United States has had a perfect counterpunch.
Fly down on the PAT. The U.S. 2 fourth down conversions on the scoring drive. And got a break with Jacoby Brown, ruled inbounds on the catch that set up on the next play. Brian Lexington's
There's
touchdown
no foul on the play for leaping.
33-7. 5:06 to go in the third. The U.S. on its way to winning the International Bowl. They needed to win all 3 games today to do it. And looking good, teams and the Stars and Stripes.
It's just vital that programs like Heads Up continue to be heard. You know, you're talking about teamwork, you're talking about discipline, you're talking about understanding the value of hard work and knowing that, hey, if I sweat and this is hard and we do this together, there's a great outcome, or maybe there's not, and then you learn how to recover from that. I just think the benefits of football can't be overstated. USA Football, for a better, safer game.
This is where the real coaching happens, where playing gets safer and the game gets better, where rituals become a rite of passage and X's and O's turn into pure celebration. This is where individuals become a team, where hard work is rewarded, where differences are left at home. This is USA Football.
On ESPN3 is brought to you by Shock Doctor, official mouthguard of USA Football and the U.S. national team. By Chi-Chi's, La Victoria, and Holy Guacamole, proud supporters of USA Football and USA Football's quest for a better, safer game. And by St. Vincent Sports Performance, official sports medicine partner of the U.S. national team program.
The 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football. It was just last year USA Football officially recognized by the United States Olympic Committee as the national governing body of this fine sport. It was endowed by the NFL and NFL Players Association in 2002. USA Football, the only youth football development partner the NFL has had in its 93-year history. And if you've watched this game and a number of the games this week, you've seen why, with all the tremendous programs USA Football puts on for these youngsters. And this is the cream of the crop, not just here at the International Bowl, but they started with 27 regional development camps all over the country. Then players from those camps meet in the national development camps. And Greg Tepper, that's where the players are picked from those national camps to participate here in this great event all week long in Arlington, Texas.
And that's, I think, a key distinction to draw. We've been reminding you all week that this is not an all-star game. And I think that where you really get onto it is the fact that is that basically you have to earn your way onto this team. You know, this is a way that you can develop. You can develop your game. You can get great coaching from all across the state and all across the nation. But also, there's that carrot out there that you can come here and play for Team USA, and that's what all these guys have done. They've earned their way onto the team.
It's Dave Johnson with the first down grab. You see from Brampton, Ontario.
A lot of Bramptonites. Been calling Brampton a lot. I wonder if there's a watch party. Hey, Brampton.
Brampton, near Toronto and Windsor as well, southwest portion of Ontario, so close, of course, to the United States border. Cities far and wide in Ontario being represented here. Ontario under-17 team and earlier the under-18 team. Third down and short coming for this Ontario squad.
Speaking of Bramptonites, there's Gabriel Apaya Kubi. That's the second time we've called his name today. A slight frame at 5'9", 140, but obviously tremendous skill set, soft hands. If he fills out, if he's able to fill out that frame, he's got a chance to do something special.
Third down and 3. Hatcher has been a quarterback all night, and some miscommunication, although there was holding downfield. You mentioned it in the first half. They're just not throwing the pass interference call unless it is absolutely blatant, and Khalil Wilson is wondering why wasn't one call, because Trey Bugg, the cornerback, was holding him downfield.
Yeah, I also wonder if there was enough miscommunication on that particular play to warrant a fact that we're going to let it go there. I think that Trey Bugg was probably, if the ball was a little closer, maybe they think about throwing the flag. But overall, this has been a relatively loosely officiated game, if I may say so, in a way that is not disrespectful to our wonderful referees.
And that punt all the way behind the benches on the Ontario sideline. So the USA to get great field position here. They'll start this ensuing drive in Ontario territory, 33-7. The United States under-17 national team in control. AT&T Stadium here in Arlington, Texas has 80,000 seats, with so much room for the standing room only crowd. You can actually seat over 100,000 in this place, and they've done that for football games, and the biggest attendance ever here. I believe the NBA All-Star Game once had 108,000 here watching it at AT&T Stadium. Great facility, which has hosted the 2016 International Bowl all week.
And they've had all sorts of different events here. You know, you talk about that they've moved the Cotton Bowl Classic here, a game that is the preeminent bowl game here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. Still means a great deal to a lot of people, including me. Everything from that to giant concerts. In fact, in a couple of weeks, I believe WrestleMania is going to be here. Dave, do you have your tickets?
I don't, okay. But there's still some available. Probably not as popular as that event
Probably
is.
not.
That's a nice grab, holding on David Shin, and with the grab just past the 35.
First time we've really called his name in a positive way. You know, they've been trying to get the ball to him, and he's not able to get out and use his legs, but to leaping ability here, to go up and high point that ball on what was really a bullet from the quarterback. An impressive catch there. Taden Blaze put a little extra something behind that, but David Shannon able to hold it in.
I don't watch a lot of wrestling anymore. I did as a kid.
Of course.
This is a perfect place for it, because if you're way high up, you can just watch the matches here on the big scoreboard. A lot easier than trying to watch it with I'm sure the two would just look like ants from way up top in the squared circle, as they say. Nowhere to go on that third down carry for Holcomb, and so fourth down coming for the United States.
And you got to think that there's probably a punt coming, although at this point we've been wrong every time we've tried to predict a United States punt. So here comes the touchdown, maybe? I'm not real sure.
Well, they need the 32.
They're gonna go for it, of course.
Yep, 4th and 9. Taden Blaze is in at quarterback.
Taden Blaze, big, beefy kid, 6'2", 205. You don't see a lot of 200-pound kind of rising juniors here, but that's what you got here.
3 wides. And Blaze firing up the middle, tipped and incomplete. Miles Milano, the great defensive play, tipping it away from Jacob Brammer.
We've been calling his name all night long. I've been really impressed with Miles Milano. He moves great for a kid his size. 6'2", 240. You'd expect that to be a big, plodding linebacker, but he is able to drop back in coverage and stay with Jacob Brammer, who's 6'5", 270 out of Richmond in Houston.
We'll look at all the sites for the USA Football Regional Development Camps. We talked about it a few minutes ago. USA Football offering athletes in the 6th through 11th grades with the chance to train with the U.S. National Team Program, competing against top players from the region and working with current NCAA coaches. Visit usafootball.com/regionals to find a location nearest you. As you see all the locations across the country, late February through early June, the regional development camps. And so soon, this month, the search for the 2017 International Bowl players will begin here in the state, starting with those development camps we just saw.
Yeah, we think about National Signing Day, which was on Wednesday, and we think about that being the turnover of the recruiting period for college football. Well, the recruitment period, quote-unquote, for USA football has already begun. They're already on the search for the next crop of superstar players for this USA football team, and they're going to be scouring those regional development camps and eventually those national development camps and figure out who can wear the stars and stripes.
Looking deep for Wilson, some jostling, no flag thrown, coverage downfield by Hearn.
You know, Hearn has played a pretty nice game so far for the United States. Coming out of Oceanside, California, he's got good size for a corner. 6'2", and that's what everyone wants now. Everyone wants that big corner. And Azizi Hearn comes down with another nice play. That's becoming the new thing as we see more and more of these hybrid positions. The big plotting middle linebacker is gone. So is the small corner. You've got to be able to be big and run fast.
3rd down and 5. Late in the third quarter. Hatcher. Here comes the blitz. Hatcher can't get away. Josh Mays brings him down.
Boy, the first step on this kid, you would not think that he's 6'5", 235. The quickness that he has, he plays like a guy much smaller than him, and yet the strength to bust through the rip move to get up the middle and get the sack on Jonas Hatcher. Jonas Hatcher is not going to be sending a lot of Christmas cards to the Mays family, I don't think.
Well, Mays, what a bright future. mention he's already taken an unofficial visit to Notre Dame as his recruitment really getting going, class of 2017. Bobak's punt. And it'll bounce into the hands of Isaiah Humphreys. And Humphreys will lose yardage on the return to the 30. Into the third quarter, 33-7. The USA under-17 national squad in control.
So at St. Vincent Sports Performance, whether we're talking about Olympic athletes or middle school and high school athletes, the foundation is the same. We want to remove dysfunction and then build upon their sport-specific movements to allow them to function at a very high level on and off the field.
You could be the best in your house.
And then you'll stay.
Then get all the love.
You could be the best in this house.
You could be faster than the fastest.
You can carry on the hips.
Then add a couple of these.
And then make everyone want to be like you.
And you can stop there, but you won't, because you're not done yet.
For the athletes moving the game forward, Gatorade's creating the fuel to do the same. Fueling today, fueling the future.
It is the culmination of every great life lesson, all rolled into one spectacular game that builds relationships. It adds a mental toughness in terms of having to deal with adversity, having to deal with success, having to work as a team. It lives with you forever. Everything that you learn in this great game lives with you forever. USA Football and the American Athletic Conference for a better, safer game.
Well, this long week and great week of football celebrating the rise of all these great high school athletes on the gridiron from the United States and Canada. 1 quarter to go, hard to believe. David Salzman alongside Greg Tepper, the 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football. This has been a day to show off these young American teams as the under 16, 17, and 18 squads, barring a fourth quarter comeback by this Ontario under 17 team. All the young U.S. national teams are going to come away with big victories here at AT&T Stadium. That pass incomplete, intended for Alec Austin from Colleyville, Texas.
Yeah, Fort Worth Nolan High School. And I'll tell you, you look at the tight ends on this United States team. Okay, Alec Austin, 6'4", 225. Jacob Brammer, 6'5", 270. John Curvin, 6'6", 245. Where do they grow these kids? Goodness.
Well, we have not seen Curvin yet with a completed pass. Curvin is already verbally committed to play at the University of Virginia. He's from Raleigh, Virginia. His brother Cade is a walk-on with a great UVA basketball team with its head coach Tony Bennett. John Curvin wearing number 86. He has been out there to block, but no pass completions yet. Now it'll be 3rd and 11 after the loss of 1.
James Kyprios again in on the stop. He's playing hard, and all these Ontario kids are playing hard. You cannot take that away from them. Just right now, from an offensive standpoint, they just don't have the horses to run with this United States team, and that's really the bottom line of it. You know, defensively, I think for the most part, they've played well. And I think that 33 is probably not an indicative score of how this defense has played. But, their offense kind of hung them out to dry.
Yeah, a few long touchdown drives, just a couple. That's it by the USA Today. The big one, the 6-minute, 54-second drive to begin the second half.
Timeout. Canada, it's their first time out of the half.
It's a 16-yard touchdown run by Brian Leckington, and that made it 33-7. Our score stands with 11:10 to go. Well, the rise of Canadian football can be evidenced in a lot of ways. Not only had the Canadian under-18 national team performed here with 2 big wins at the 2016 International Bowl. But many more Canadian players playing college here in the States and even making it to the NFL. 13 Canadians have been drafted by NFL teams since 2009, but compare that to a 26-year period between 1983 and 2008 where only 16 Canadians were drafted. So very much a rise in Canadian talent coming from up north to play in the world's greatest league for football, the NFL. Now, most of these Canadian players drafted offensive and defensive linemen. Christian Covington, the defensive tackle now for the Houston Texans, played his college ball at Rice University. Brent Urban, fourth-round pick from Virginia, the Baltimore Ravens in 2014. First-round pick, Danny Watkins, offensive lineman from Baylor. Almost intercepted there on the tip as Anthony Abel couldn't haul it in.
Once again, Miles Manalo in on another big-time play. First of all, pressure from the backside. Manalo tips it up, and Anthony Abele very nearly comes down with what would have been, I believe, his second turnover of the game, and a tremendous defensive effort, just couldn't finish the job.
And so the U.S. will punt it away with 11:01 to go. What a defensive performance by the USA, so far holding this Ontario squad to just 70 yards on 31 plays. USA at 218 yards of total offense. This will send Wilson back, and the fair catch just shy of 30. 10:52 left, 33-7 the lead for the United States, the nightcap of the 2016 International Bowl.
Sports and USA Football team up to bring you the U.S. National Team MVP. Grab yours and score a touchdown.
Plenty of highlights to go around here tonight, especially for the USA's under-17 national squad. 33-7 the lead over the under-17 team from the province of Ontario. Ontario with its share of highlights today, not just in this game, but in Game 2 with the Ontario under-18 team. And they've certainly showed out their potential, but just not enough against these United States teams. And here is our highlight of the game presented by Huddle, and look at this spinning grab by Khalil Wilson from Toronto.
The body control required to make this catch is really, really impressive, and he basically gets turned around twice, has to come back to the ball, basically fights through what I think is pass interference, and still hauls in the catch. Good enough to be our highlight of the game presented by Huddle.
Fisher Brown at quarterback, 6'4", 250 from Orangeville. And squeezing through for a few yards, that's Tanner Nelms from Guelph.
250 is a beefy quarterback, a guy who can probably take a couple hits in his day. This is a big guy, but he's got a big arm. That's the word from the Canadian squad. He needs a little bit more polish, but overall, the tools are there to be the next big thing.
2nd and 5. For Fisher Brown to this Ontario team as we approach 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Nelms again. Good at making the first man miss and then dragging the pile. What an effort. Extending his way to the 40. That's enough for the first.
Tanner Nelms just won't give up on this play. Another guy who's a little bit undersized at 5'11", 175 pounds, but he should be stopped about 3 yards short of the first down, but he just keeps his legs churning and just says, I'm getting this first down. And sure enough, he plunges forward and gets it. Outstanding effort play there from the young man.
Took Chad Quick with him for the last couple of yards from Bennettsville, South Carolina. High snap. And the handoff, Dylan Ferdinand. A short gain on first down for Ferdinand from Kitchener.
Nathan Schultz in there on the stop there. The Wisconsin product, Heartland Arrowhead High School, coming out of 6'4", 260, the number 74, with a nice stop there for what seems like just an endless parade of really talented front seven players for this United States defense.
Well, we've both been impressed by the depth of these United States squads. Better than it was last year. These teams from Ontario, much more competitive last season versus this season. And a fumble on the handoff. And still on the ground. United States football.
I didn't catch a number on who came up with the ball, but the ball was definitely loose, and it looked like a white jersey had fallen on it. And it's just kind of been that kind of night for Ontario. Every time they kind of stretch together a couple of really nice plays, something like this happens. You know, they're not able to get on there. It looks like it's number 18 who falls on it. Daniel Torres, the guy we previously credited the long touchdown run that ended up giving to Christian Setter. But overall, this defense has come up with big play after big play, and Ontario has kind of given them the ball a couple times.
Yeah, there are two number 18s, Daniel Torres and Christian Setter, who was able to give Leckington some space to throw, but that's incomplete, intended for Parker Stone.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a perfect example of what legs on a quarterback can do. Here, Brian Leckington is going to be kind of flush from the pocket, but keep the play alive. And while you're doing that, you see the secondary just kind of spread out a little bit, and all of a sudden those windows grow a little bit wider. He wasn't able to hit his man, but that's the beauty of having a guy who can move the pocket. If he's able to roll out and keep his feet and keep his eyes downfield, all of a sudden those passing lanes tend to get wider and wider.
For the Ontario 42, second down and 10. And trying to reverse field is Holcomb. Thrown back, but forward progress gets him just to the line of scrimmage.
Say what you want about the offense, there's no doubt that this Football Canada legacy is strong tackling. That's what I'm coming away feeling. I'm feeling like Canada is producing some of the best tackling teams in the world, because Malik Yusuf is going to shoot in here and wrap up and drive. Actually, that's number 16, Devontae Schmeichel, is going to drive in there and drive him back. Outstanding tackle there.
This is Setter. Burst of speed after the catch. First down past the 30. They'll mark it at the Ontario 27.
Christian Setter, a product of the regional development camps as well. He came out through the Phoenix camp and ended up going to the national development camp in Los Angeles. That's why he's here. He's a great story. He's a guy who was born, a kid who was born 2 months premature as a baby. And talking to him, he says, you know what, people always kind of counted me out. But obviously he's grown up into a stand-up young man and a guy proud to represent his country.
1,200 yards on the ground, 22 touchdowns for Prescott High School this fall. To the end zone, man open and a score. Dylan Spalding. First touchdown pass for this U.S. team tonight, and it's 39-7.
Leckington's going to take the snap and roll to his left, and somehow they just forget to cover the deep man, Dylan Spalding, and that is not the guy you want to forget. This is a guy who has pretty much been a scoring machine ever since for the past couple of years at South County High School in Lorton, Virginia. You know, we mentioned it a little bit earlier. 69 catches, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns. This guy lives in the end zone.
The cherry on top for the United States. They'll win all 3 games to take home the International Bowl. It's 40-7. Beautiful throw. Brian Leckington finding Dylan Spalding, and the USA has 40 on the board.
And he's just able to get behind the defenders, and you see it. You know, I think he ran a little bit of a hitch and go, and everyone bid on it, and Leckington put it on him in the back of the end zone. Touchdown, United States. It's party time here at AT&T Stadium.
43-6 was the score in our first game. The under-16 national team over the Alberta under-16 squad. And then domination in game number 2. Under-18 select team over the Ontario under-18 squad. And here, 40-7. So Canada's under-18 national team will come away with the 2 victories for the Canadians in this International Bowl against the under-19 select squad Sunday and against the under-18 national team on Wednesday. Flag down, maybe on the tackle, which was made by Javante Oliphant.
Speaking of Javante's, the real star this week for the Canadian side was probably Javante Stanley, the running back for that U18 team. Boy, I was so impressed with him.
Number 15, defense, 15-yard penalty, first down.
He was just such a breath of fresh air for this offense, and give a lot of credit to their big offensive line, but that U18 team, I mentioned it on Twitter. I mentioned it to everyone. I said that wasn't a fluke. Those 2 wins were not flukes. They were the better team. And when you're talking about beating a team, the U.S. under-18 team, which is just loaded with blue-chip prospects, to come out there and really just throttle them was super impressive to me.
After the penalty, Ontario will start from the USA 44. Fisher Brown to throw, and wide open, he misses his target. Dave Johnson would have had 6.
Oh, that is a hands-on head moment for Brown. Fisher Brown had his man on a wheel route, and that is a touchdown. If he can just take a little bit off of it, then he's going to find Dave Johnson in stride.
Low blocking on the offense, number 25. 15-yard penalty, replay first down.
Wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Tanner Nelms called for the penalty. Only low blocking from tight end to tight end, so on the line of scrimmage, is allowed immediately on the initial charge.
So you can cut block a guy right away.
Right away, but afterwards, here in this event, that's called for the chop block.
Which is a good rule. That's where you can really do some damage to knees and ankles and stuff. This is all with safety in mind.
So all of a sudden, the ball moved back to Ontario's on 41. First and 25, and Ferdinand, no room to run, loss of 2.
One thing that I've been really impressed with this week from the United States, really from both sides, it feels like the coaches have really gotten it, and they really feel honored to be coaching Team USA or Team Canada. Every coach that we talk to, whether it's Brad Collinson for the Canadian U18 team, or you talk to Glenn Mills for this Ontario team, or you talk to Brandon Faircloth, the coach of the U.S. under-17 team, or any of the coaches who we've seen this week, they've all really gotten it. They've really understood the idea of coaching for their nation.
Slingshot incomplete on the far side, as that was intended for Savani. So 3rd and long now for Ontario, 6:14 remaining.
I'd say take a shot, but I'm not sure that they're going to be able to give Fisher Brown enough time to really load up and throw. We know that he has a strong arm, but I'm not sure that he's going to have the time to really step in and fire one downfield, even if they find somebody there. Even though right now the farthest guy defender back for the United States is about 7 yards deep.
Josh May still on the field, and here he comes bringing pressure. Hit as he throws, and Brown delivered a good strike, but Apia Kubi just had to go through his hands.
Yeah, if you're going to get time and you're going to be able to get a good pass off like that, then Apia Kubi's got to come up with that one. He's going to want that one back. It's that kind of day for Ontario where everything's just been about a half step off.
So down by this much, but 4th and about an acre, another punt coming for Boback. Gurley deep for the U.S. from his own 25. Trying to turn the corner and will. Now with blockers in front of him. Another block downfield, and he stays inbounds. Anthony Gurley, 75 yards on the return.
Dazzling. Simply dazzling from Anthony Gurley. He does a lot of this himself. He's going to start on the far side of the field, right? And then he's going to stutter step one guy, stutter step another guy, and it was at that point when he was able to shake number 59 that you felt like, okay, maybe he's got something here. Then he gets a great block on the punter who is a great effort but can't knock him out of bounds. Anthony Gurley, proof that speed kills.
That was Javonte Oliphant from Trinity, Texas, with the block all the way downfield, the last one that sprung Gurley open. And we have well over 12 men on the field. We have 13 on the field for Canada. That'd be a penalty up there.
On the defense, 5-yard penalty.
Well, you can't have 12 men in the Canadian game, but not 13.
Yeah, 13.
Pass the distance to the goal. Hey, try the point.
Hunter Reed missed a couple of PATs in the first quarter. Has been much better since. Won't get a chance here. And this is returnable, but Herzog able to snatch the football, but a knee on the ground, and the play is called dead. 46-7 the score.
And we've run the gambit this weekend, or this week rather, on special teams plays. We've had transcendent special teams plays, like the game-opening kickoff return in the U-17 game on Wednesday afternoon. We've had a number of kickoff returns. We've had Anthony Gurley right there with just an out-of-this-world punt return. But we've also had things like that. And we've had missed field goals, and we've had missed extra points. Now, it's worth mentioning that these are NFL goalposts. And they are a little thinner, but it wouldn't have mattered there as the snap was there. So I think that speaks to the fact that this is such a program that puts the team together in about a week. And those are the things that tend to come together last.
Well, looking at these young United States teams that have performed so well today, Canada's closing the gap as a country. With the provincial teams, they've had more trouble today. Obviously, less players to choose from to represent Ontario and Alberta versus the national teams that we've seen for Canada. I think the U.S. and Canada are going to go at it again, and I'm looking forward to hearing about what happens in July, where both the U.S. and Canada will be represented at the IFAF Under-19 World Championships. It features 8 countries overall, countries competing for gold, silver, and bronze medals. The U.S. is the defending champ, defeating Canada in the 2014 gold medal game. That was in Kuwait City. Canada with the win over the United States down in Austin in the 2012 event. Keon Edwards brought down just past the 20.
Yeah, and these international competitions are really becoming more and more competitive because the gap is closing between the United States and the rest of the world. And we've mentioned it. It's not just Canada, which obviously has plenty of talent. It's not just Canada, but it's China, and it's Mexico, and it's Japan. And there's a number of really solid football-playing countries out there now. It used to be kind of the United States and then everybody else. Now it's a real competition.
Well, look at basketball. I mean, it used to be the U.S. would defeat everybody. And all of a sudden now, the U.S. has to have their certain teams in basketball, even on the pro level, be together for a certain amount of time because they figured out that you just can't put them together, have them be together for a week, and then win gold medals. Teams from Europe, etc., able to pull off victories. But I think we're going to see that here, as I think football is going to be king in the USA, of course. And maybe football as a whole will always be better down here than in Canada. I don't think there's any question there. But the gap when it comes to the national teams closing, and I can't say enough that the Canada under-18 team, and you've mentioned it too, they're just dominant in their 2 victories. So intrigued to see what next year will bring when the U.S. and Canada will meet. Boy, on the pressure, Zarin Gines from Los Angeles tipping the pass away and pushing Fisher Brown down.
He got there in a hurry, and this is just, again, right now the offensive line for Canada is trying its best. But the United States knows that anytime it sends a speed rusher, they can get to the quarterback. And that's a dangerous place to live. A little earlier, we had a great play by Raiden Mestis. You see him right there from Riverton High School in Baxter Springs, Kansas. An outstanding player and just another name in this outstanding defensive line depth here for the United States.
3rd and 12. Ontario needs the 31. Incomplete. For a big guy, Fisher Brown, it's like when you're delivering a baseball, if you're a pitcher, kind of the slow wind and then more of a 3/4, close to sidearm delivery.
It's not a, whereas, for example, in the last game where we were marveling at the passing ability and the quick release of the United States quarterback, this is a slower, deliberate thing. And we know about the arm strength, but the quicker release is where he's going to have to take that next step to get it out a little bit quicker, because right now, you're right, he's winding up and throwing it, and that's not going to fly, especially going up against a defense like this.
They didn't want Gurley with another chance at a return.
Would you?
No, that punt out of bounds, 4:16 left. So David Salzman alongside Greg Tepper. It's a good chance as we're about to wind down the 8th and final telecast of football here from AT&T Stadium this week, the 2016 International Bowl presented by USA Football. And speaking of USA Football, Garrett Shea, Matt Ferrara, everyone involved, I'll just call them media relations, although they do so much more than that. Huge helps to us, huge help just putting this event together. It's so much work. We obviously watch the games, and that's the highlight for us, but just countless numbers of things that must be done to put together a wonderful event like this. It's tough to do it for one day, but for 3 days. They're not only working here at the games, but at the hotels, making sure that everyone is welcoming to all these teams traveling in. The folks behind USA Football have been tremendous. It's been a pleasure working these games for them, and look forward to seeing them in future years as well.
Rashawn Bray on the carry there, but you're exactly right. It's a first-class organization that's doing first-class work, and they run a first-class event. And I know that the other thing that I think kind of goes overlooked is that, look, we're just media folk, and so when we go and we ask a coach for a little bit of time to talk about his team, as we'll let this unveil.
Brandon Fouts into the red zone.
A great run there for Fouts as he gets the edge. But, when we're asking a coach, let's take a look, first of all, at the Ontario MVP before I think that.
All right, Justin Jelinek, the MVP for Ontario. The big hit earlier this game on Logan Taylor. Jelinek from Kitchener, the MVP for the Ontario Under-17 squad, and that MVP presented by Adele.
When we ask a coach for some time to talk about his squad, he could very easily say no. And that happens a lot. As somebody who covers high school football, and college football here in the state of Texas, I get told no a lot. I'm very good at hearing the word no. But these coaches have been more than accommodating. They've been more than candid, and they've told us the truth about their team. And the truth, wasn't always pretty for some of these teams, but they told us the truth and they helped us do our job. And I think that that's sometimes not the most fun part of their job. I think that they'd rather be out there coaching football, but dealing with us, is something that they've put up with us, which is very nice of them.
Well, they've all been kind and generous with their time, and really this has become the pinnacle of events for football on this level. And as we mentioned so many times, worth saying again, this is not an all-star game, as you'll see throughout the country, at times pitting U.S. teams against each other. This is a true international competition. It was 2-1 Canada entering today, but the United States getting the job done. Their young national teams and the under-18 select team dominating wins here today. As we're under 2 minutes to go, 3rd and goal.
Handoff there to Alan Darge out of Lake Mary High School in Sanford, Florida. 5'5", 130. Takes some guts to take the handoff up the middle against this big Canadian front at 5'5", 130. Alan Darge getting a nice carry there.
Tatum Blaze at quarterback, as the U.S. will wind this clock down as much as they can. 20-0 after a quarter, and this under-17 squad for the U.S. would not look back. Blaze to the end zone and dropped. Scott Scherzer couldn't haul it in.
Boy, Scott Scherzer's going to be seeing this one in his sleep. That one was dropped in the bucket. A really nice throw from Taden Blaze to drop it in the bucket, but the New Jersey product cannot hold on. They're going to force a field goal attempt here. And pretty much the only thing that's going wrong for the United States tonight.
With 1:09 left, Hunter Reed's going to need some ice on that right leg. He's been busy, kicker and punter. Hasn't had to punt too much. And he'll try the 27-yard field goal. And he kicks it straight through. 49-7.
This is probably about an appropriate score, right? This is about the score that would reflect the level of dominance that the United States has explained here. And hey, guess who's the MVP? You're never going to guess. Brought to you by Riddell.
You know, it could have been a lot of players, but you know what? The flashiest highlights?
Yeah.
This young man, Anthony Gurley. What a bright future for him. The Everett Herald's 2015 Football Athlete of the Year from Marysville, Washington, Archbishop Murphy High School. And he was just sensational today. There's his punt return for a touchdown.
Yeah, he was just, every time he touched the ball, you could tell there was something special that was going to happen. It was special to watch him. It was special to watch this United States team. It was a total team effort. You mentioned that there could be a lot of guys who are the MVP. Gurley did have the flashiest game, but from the offensive line to the defense, pretty much everyone on the defense, they played really, really well as a unit, as a team, and I think that's a credit to the coaching staff, to Brandon Faircloth for bringing this team together and getting them to pull the rope in the same direction. It's harder than you think in 1 week, but he got them to do it.
Just saw the shot of the huge scoreboard. I can't imagine seeing my face up there. It's big enough.
I will tell you that my face has been on that. And it's horrifying.
Did you try to hide?
In other television work that I've done, where you're looking into a television camera, and you know in your mind that this television camera can be viewed by this millions of people. In theory, millions of people. But all you're worried about is your face on the world's biggest television screen. That is a horrifying thought, and that's the only one you don't want to screw up on. That's the only one. If my wife at home, hi honey, if my wife at home sees me screw up on the small screen, that's okay. But if I screw up in front of 20,000 people on that one, or 30,000, or 40,000, or 50,000, that's just, I'm gonna melt in the corner.
180 feet wide from 20-yard line to 20-yard line. Ontario with a handoff on first down. Nelms, and forward progress stopped at the 47.
There was I believe Madden is a sponsor of the International Bowl. Mm-hmm. There's at one point I remember seeing pictures of a guy playing Madden on this screen, which has to be just a gamer's dream, right? The ability to just play a game of Madden on this screen. That's a worthy prize for a contest.
Even on the screens on the side, which have size themselves, are not 60 yards wide. But
no, they're only 30 yards wide. God.
Perhaps the final play, as the United States will take on the International Bowl. 3 wins today as they'll defeat Canada 4-2. And this is such a fun event. Again, thanks to everyone involved with USA Football for putting this great event on. It has been so fun to do. The 2016 International Bowl this day, celebrated by the Americans. Gatorade showers all over. They'll get Brandon Faircloth and company as the U.S. wins 49-7. Big thanks to Jeff Lilikoff, our entire tremendous crew, and again, everyone with USA Football this week. Thanks to all of them for their hospitality. For Greg Tepper and our great crew, I'm David Salzman. The final score, U.S. Under-17 squad defeats Ontario's Under-17 team 49-7. Thank you for watching the International Bowl. It's been a presentation of USA Football on ESPN3.
It was fun. Hey.